So, just in case, if someone asks you, how are you? If you want to answer in Spanish today, you can use a phrase. For some reasons, only in Costa Rica we use it, and it's the best answer for almost all questions. It's pura vida. P-U-R-A-V-I-D-A. Pura vida means that everything is fine, everything is okay. If you go to a restaurant, if you eat something, if they ask you, how was the food? If you like it, pura vida.
Pura vida.
When we come back here today, I'm going to ask you, how was the tour? So if you like it, pura vida. In case that you don't, we don't have a phrase for that. So you have to say pura vida too, and that will make me feel good. So very welcome. My name is Roy Batista, and I will be the guide with you today. This very few hours, but you will see that we will see many things. We will see some nice cultural aspects of the Caribbean side of the country. Costa Rica is only, if we see it in the Earth planet, Costa Rica is only 0.03% of the land mass of the world. But what happened in this 0.03%, we have the 6% of all the biodiversity of the world at the same time. So I'm going to try to tell you as many things as I can in the time that we have. If you have questions, please let me know. We will have some specific moments to answer some questions like directly with you. And well, before we start, there will be 3 buses doing the same tour, using the same train. So for that reason, we have to wait just a couple more minutes before we go. So for this tourist season in Costa Rica, we need to have a new policy from our government. We need to have something here, a paper with your names. It's a kind of waiver. Actually, that's date, your name, the number of the cabin, and the signature. So I please need you all to do it. So I'm gonna pass it. Is that okay? Can you help me with that? Pura vida. That's good.
Pura vida.
Correct. And then I will use this time to explain what exactly is it we're gonna be doing today, which is a very nice tour, by the way. Your fine pen.
Oh, he's got a pen.
Yes, what I need is a kind of clipboard. Correct. Let me see if I can find one. For activities today, we're gonna have our ride to get to a place that is called Saborio, which is we're gonna cross a banana plantation. It's a small town. Mainly people who work in the bananas live in there, which is not very common nowadays. Years ago, 60s, 70s, 80s, banana plantations used to build houses for all people who work in there. My family, I grew up in a banana plantation, so my father worked in a banana plantation for a long time, so that was something common. But years ago, nowadays, things are completely different. Right now, there are just few banana plantations that they have like small houses for workers. Right now, most of the workers just live in their own places or some towns close to the plantation. It's about 45 minutes, 50 minutes to get there, and then we will get on the train. The train is nowadays is just used for this kind of tours. The construction of the train started back in the 1872, and it's extremely important it was very important for our economy in that moment, and even for our culture. I will tell you why. Then on the train, the ride on the train is about 1 hour. What are we gonna see from the train? Well, we will have great views of a little bit of forest. We will see some small towns, mainly from bananas again. We will see a little bit of some canals. When I say canals, part of them are natural, some of them are artificial. There was a company many years ago in the 60s that worked in Costa Rica and worked with wood. So they built some part and joined some rivers to carry wood to a certain place. That company disappeared, but nowadays it's one of the few ways to get to a national park that is called Tortuguero. You know what the Tortuguero means?
No.
Tortuguero, tortuga means it's turtle. Tortuguero means a lot of turtles. So it's one of our most famous national parks in Costa Rica, Tortuguero, because in the coast there are 7 species of sea turtles in the world. 4 of them lay their eggs in that national park. So it's really spectacular. Starting soon on May, from May and up to June, even July, will be the season when turtles come to lay their eggs in there. Green turtles, hawksbill, leatherback, and loggerhead. So we're gonna see a little bit of that canal. We will see the coast of the Caribbean. I don't know if some of you have had the possibility to be in the Pacific side, but even though it takes only 6 hours to get to the other side of the country, the coast is completely different. The characteristic in the Caribbean coast is that the forest almost touch the ocean. So it's nice because you go to the beach and you're gonna be under the trees with a lot of sometimes monkeys and other things right there, and you have the water right there. The water is 2 degrees warmer than the Pacific side, but the Pacific side is drier. Right now is the driest month in Costa Rica. Okay. Okay. Okay, we have Mr. Jose right here, and he's going to be our driver. So we both will do our best for you to have a good day today. So the Pacific is drier over there. So, but there is a big distance in between the ocean and the forest, and it's dry forest. So different views. People who like to enjoy the sun and the beach, well, I will say that the Pacific side is the best place. But if you like to enjoy the beach and the forest at the same time, Caribbean side would be the best place to go. So we're gonna see that in the Caribbean. So about, as I said, like 1 hour in the train, and then we will get up from the train and we'll get here to this same bus, and we will drive about 25 minutes to go to a place where there is a gift shop. It's a nice place, and inside the same area they have a place with some banana plants, with some other plantations like cacao. Do you like chocolate? Well, you know that from today I will be telling you many things about bananas, because we're going to be crossing bananas, and bananas is one of our main products. I'm talking about agriculture in general, but we produce a lot of coffee too. If you like coffee, my dear friends, I gotta tell you that in Costa Rica we produce, probably all countries say the same, that they have the best quality coffee in the world. So I won't be the exception today, and I gotta tell you that we produce one of the best coffees in the world too. So I will tell you about that, and I will tell you about cacao. But in the case of the cacao, it's important because it's the only native crop that, from all these ones that I just mentioned, coffee, bananas, and cacao. Cacao is native of America. Okay, South America is what we know, but in Central America we produce a lot of it, and we don't export like the final product, like the chocolate bars, but normally the dry beans. But that's what we're gonna see there, and the other place, and then we will come here to Limon. Everything is going to be close to this area over here. In this time of the year, because it's a Holy Week, so there are a lot of people just visiting the coast. Something that is completely different from what it was. I don't know how you celebrate it, but in Costa Rica, at least when I was young in 70s, 80s, people normally stay at home for these days. Our parents used to tell us, okay, you cannot go to the water, no river, no ocean, because you can become a fish. You cannot climb a tree because if not, you will become a monkey. That was the way how they make us to stay at home, watch TV, and eat all kind of things, but not meat, all different things. But nowadays, that is different. It's just like a normal week vacation for public entities like schools and all that. We have all this week as vacation. So that's why there are a lot of people right now moving here, mostly here in the coast. Okay, Costa Rica. First of all, Costa Rica is in the middle of North and South America. It's exactly in the middle. It is known that Costa Rica was the last piece of land that emerged from ocean some million years ago and joined the two Americas. Okay? You know that North and South America was separated by water, but because of some volcanic activity, Costa Rica emerged, or Costa Rica, a piece of Panama and a piece of Nicaragua, and joined the two Americas, making that like a bridge. So immediately a lot of animals start migrating, even human beings start migrating from Asia. Imagine get cross the Bering Strait and get here and use this kind of bridge that we have. Nowadays, still nowadays in October and November, if you like to watch birds, this is a good place to visit the Caribbean side because we see millions of birds migrating from north to south. And what it is really amazing is that birds migrate not on the mountains and not even on the water, but in the flat lands. So in here, it gets very narrow. The mountain range almost get to the ocean. So sooner or later, if you stay here, you will see lots of them migrating. We border in south with Panama. We're just a few miles from Panama, from the border. North with Nicaragua. East with the Caribbean Sea. And west with the Pacific Ocean. This volcanic activity that make Costa Rica to come, so make a very nice mountain range that goes from south to north and divide the country perfectly in two parts. If you want to go to the Pacific, sooner or later you will have to cross that mountain range. In this mountain range, because of the volcanic activity, you know how many volcanoes we have? No idea? But we have one that is extremely active right now. It's a Poas volcano. All volcanoes are in national parks, but that one is closed right now because it's more active than normal. But in total, what you see in the maps, they normally mention 8 volcanoes, but those are the active ones. But in total, we have about 200 volcanoes. That's why I said that we produce a good coffee. The thing is that volcanic soils are considered to be the best ones to cultivate coffee. And that's what we have up in the mountains. So that's Costa Rica is only 51,000 square kilometers, like 22,000 square miles. That's all Costa Rica. 5.5 million people living here. That's the population. And our currency is Colón, because Mr. a very famous Christopher Columbus, I'm sure that you have heard about him. So his name in Spanish is Cristóbal Colón, so that's why our currency is Colón. Exchange rate in this moment is, well, almost every day changes, but I was thinking an average of 500 colones per dollar. That's the exchange rate. The name, why we have this name? Okay, let's travel back in time to the time of Mr. Christopher Columbus, by the way, 1502. I don't know if you noticed, but right where the cruise ship is right now, just to the right of it, there was a small island. I don't know if you noticed it, but there's a very small one. Well, that island is very important. It's important because that's where Mr. Christopher Columbus got in his 4th and last trip. And that's all what he did. Actually, he got just to the island, and that's all. He didn't touch the land, but just to the island. And in the island, at the moment he just arrived there were a group of natives These natives have some things in their necks, big pieces of gold and jade. And Mr. Christopher Columbus saw that and he said, that's a rich coast. So we translate that, that is Costa Rica. That is the possible reason for our name. When he said that, I always say that he was right and he was wrong at the same time. He was right because we do feel rich, not because of the gold and the jade, because we don't have them. We don't have gold and not even jade. But we feel very rich because of the biodiversity we have. So remember, it's only 0.03% of the land mass of the world, so 6% of all the biodiversity live in here. 6%. Just think of that. But I don't want you to think that means that you will see, if you get into a forest, you will see animals everywhere. No, it's not like that. So we have many species, but just few individuals per species. That's why in Costa Rica we don't have hunting season, for example. So just, if you're lucky to be in the right place in the right moment, maybe you will find, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 monkeys, an anteater, quadrimundi. If you're extremely lucky, you can see a puma or jaguar, those are one of the main predators that we have in our forest. But imagine just one puma or jaguar will need about 60 acres to survive as territory, just one. So that's why we have many species, but just few animals in each species. So all animals are considered protected in Costa Rica, and some of them are endangered, but all of them are considered protected. So that's why Costa Rica, I said that Christopher Columbus was right. Let me tell you just few numbers of the species that we have. We have 12,000 species of butterflies, including 4 big ones we call them morpho, they are blue. So if suddenly in a place you see that everything is green, but you see a metallic blue thing moving, flying, that would be a morpho butterfly. We have them in here. And we have a lot of birds, 870 species of birds, including 58 beautiful species of hummingbirds. You like hummingbirds? Yes, that's great. Okay.
What tune do they hum?
Sorry?
What tune do they hum?
Okay. Look at this. I have something. I cut it yesterday. My wife doesn't know, but I cut this plant right here. Well, it's in the same group of them, but this one is a heliconia. Heliconias, we have 38 species in Costa Rica, and all of these plants are pollinated just by hummingbirds. So these plants collect a lot of water over here. So, and we have a frog that is red and got blue legs. It's very tiny. Have you heard about the poison dart frog?
Yes.
Well, they live on the ground as adults, but when the females gather, they lay their eggs, normally 2. The eggs turn into tadpoles in 1 week. So the females carry the tadpoles and climb these plants, and they just leave them in here in the water, these kind of plants. So hummingbirds, we have 58 species of them. How about snakes? Do you like snakes? Not very much. I better don't say the numbers. Well, if you look for information in our books, whenever I say a number of a species, I normally say around, because every single day there is something new. The best example was the snakes. Right now in almost all books, the reptiles, the snakes in Costa Rica, they say that we have 137 species. But last week I had the great possibility to work with an herpetologist in a forest, and he told me that right now we have around 147, so 10 more species. Only 23 of them are deadly venomous. Well, I said only because 23, we have 140 something, okay. 2 of them are included in the top 10 of the most venomous of the world. We have one that is called Bushmaster, Have you heard about Bushmaster?
No.
In color, it's a little bit similar to the rattlesnake. Very similar. But we have Bushmaster and another one that is called Fer de Lance. Those two are vipers. And most of the time, vipers, all what they get is 2-3 feet long. But these two ones can get about 9 feet long, which is a big difference with most of the vipers. Well, they are nocturnals. It will be rare that if to see one active during the day. And believe me, for some reasons we consider snakes to be very... Actually, people use the word aggressive. I never use the word aggressive almost for none of the animals that we have. But snakes, they don't like to get close to human beings, you know. It's not a good business for a snake to buy something that they won't eat, because it takes time to regenerate that. So it's better to say, here I am, like in the case of the rattlesnake, or they get away. Even there is a very, how can I say, string way to say here I am that sometimes snakes use. And it's sometimes they bite, you know, that they do not necessarily inject any venom. That's what it is called, like a dry kiss. So it's a way to say, I'm here, please get away. But what? Snakes are the best natural balance for rodents. That's one of the good things about snakes. Then we have a lot of bats. Bats are incredible animals too, 112 species. One of the best group of mammals in a forest. And when I say the best group, the most important group is in the species, because we have 112. And they do a lot of things for nature. Many of them feed on fruits, so they disperse a lot of seeds. Some other ones feed on nectar, so they pollinate many plants. Many other ones feed on mosquitoes, so they are good natural balance for mosquitoes. There are 2 species of white bats, and there are 3. You know, and it's sometimes interesting that people do not know that there are vampires, because when we probably all have heard about the famous Dracula, the movies of Dracula, the man getting a lot of blood. But there are only 3 species in the world, and all of them live only in the American continent. I don't know what Dracula was doing there in Transylvania, but all of them live in here, and they are very tiny ones. All what they drink, for example, a vampire bat, all what they drink of blood is just a teaspoon of blood, and that's all. They won't get more than that. But, well, they are so very necessary, as every single species of animal is very important in a forest. That's what we will see today. Every single species got a reason to be there. I'm not talking just about plants, but in the case of our flora, our plants and trees, well, it's very diverse too. We'll have some hardwood trees like mahogany, rosewood, basswood is very common here. Those are kind of hardwood trees, but various lightwood trees too, like balsa. You know the balsa? We have one that is called Cecropia. Cecropia is a tree that is easy to recognize it, because when we walk into a forest, we will see that there are moss and plants growing in almost all of the trees. But whenever you see just one tree that is clean, I mean no moss, no plants, and normally it's easy to recognize it because of the color, the bark is white. So if you see that, well, that is a Cecropia. And why is clean? You just go and move and make some vibration in the trunk, and you will see thousands of ants coming out immediately from there. So there is a symbiotic relationship in between the tree and the ants. The tree gets like wood, so that's why this tree just cannot have any other things growing in the branches, because they would be too heavy and break the branches. So they need to be clean, so the ants are the one that cleans it. The tree produces sweet nectar, of course, to the ants, just for them to live in there. And the ants cleans it. So that is a symbiotic. That's called mutualism, because both organisms help each other. So that's why Christopher Columbus was right. Costa Rica is rich, but because of the biodiversity. We're just 10 degrees north from the equator. So it means that we are in the tropics. So for that reason, we don't have seasons as you have. We just have two that we don't even call like winter or summer. We prefer to say rainy season and dry season. We're almost at the end of our dry season. We just finished this month and we'll start with the rain on May. I'm talking about a general in Costa Rica because the Caribbean side where we are right now is very unpredictable. In here it rains a lot more than normal, like the rest of the country. So in here most of the time we say that we have rainy season and less rainy season because it rains almost every day. Imagine that we get from 6 to 8 meters of rain a year. That's the average, like 250 inches of rain a year, which is a lot, yes, but we're used to it. So being in this position, geographic position, so that makes it the temperature is almost the same all year round. It goes from 23 and up to 31, that is Celsius. In Fahrenheit it will be from 70 to 90. That's the average all year round, except for some nights in December, January. At night it gets very cold. In here that is flat, well, it doesn't get that cold, but in our capital, in San Jose, it's about San Jose is about 3,000 feet above sea level, so it gets very cold in there some nights. So it gets sometimes maybe 55, 60 Fahrenheit. Okay.
Yeah, that's cold.
If you go on San Jose on a night in December, you will see everyone wearing jackets and all that. You're right. And ironically, you know, that's one of the things. If you ask a Costa Rican person, what would you like to see in your life? Well, most of the people would say we want to see snow and be in cold places because we don't have it like that. Imagine, not even in our highest peak of Costa Rica is it's called Chiripo. It's almost 12,000 feet above sea level and no snow in there.
Yeah, 55 every time. I'll be happy with that.
Well, we don't, in Mississippi, we typically don't, but this year we got it. And it's been over 20 years, there's been we had over 6 inches.
We got about 5 years, about 6 inches. Tennessee.
And we're Mississippi, we don't get snow, and we did this year already. But we're like you guys, we're lucky if we get to 30 or 40 at night. It's very uncommon. This was the first one in 20 years.
Last year we hit 3 degrees.
Oh no, I'd be freezing to death.
We had about 6 inches of snow.
Well, these conditions that I was telling you makes that Costa Rica is a good place to grow many things. It's a place where you can have rice, beans, bananas, pineapples, a lot of things because it doesn't get that hot and doesn't get that cold.
Perfect.
Yes, which is that Costa Rica is divided in 7 provinces. Today we are in the province of Limon. That's the port, that is the name of the main town there, but it's the name of the whole province. It covers almost all Caribbean. Is the province of Limon. Going to the center of the country, this is the road that connects Caribbean with the central area. Going up in the mountains, and there is a valley in the middle. There are 4 provinces in there. We have the province of Alajuela. Alajuela is known like the city of the mangoes. There are a lot of mangoes in there, yes. Heredia, the city of the flowers. Cartago, the city of potatoes, and finally San Jose. San Jose is our capital. It's just the main towns are very close to each other. Actually, Alajuela is where we have our main international airport. It was the only international airport, but maybe 10 years ago, we built a new one in the Pacific side, in the North Pacific. So now we have Liberia. A lot of people are now flying directly to that place. A lot of airlines are just getting to Liberia right now. Okay, that is the Central Pacific, it's the central area, and then we go to the Pacific, we go down, and we get two provinces in there. Punta Arenas is the other important port. That's where other cruise ships get. And the other important province in there is Guanacaste. Guanacaste is the North Pacific, and it's where we have almost all of our big resorts and hotels are on that side. A lot of people who retired just come to live in Costa Rica, live in the Pacific side. That's the only place of Costa Rica when you can really say when it's going to be dry and when it's going to be rainy. Right now, visiting the Guanacaste province is very dry, first of all, like 90, 92. That's the temperature in this moment. And it's a place where in this time of the year is great to, if you like fruits. So we produce a lot of fruits in there, like seasonal fruits, mangoes, melon, watermelon, cashew. You like cashew? Well, that is very common in there in this time of the year. Visiting in there is wonderful. And besides that, because it's very sunny, that tend to make the fruits to be very sweet most of the time. I mentioned mangoes and cashew. It's important to say that a lot of people ask, Roy, are we gonna have problems with are we going to have problems with poison ivy plant? Well, no, we don't have that specific plant in Costa Rica. We do have certain plants that if you touch, you can get a kind of rash, which is very common. But you know, we have mangoes and cashew, and those two are exactly in the same family of poison ivy. So those are the closest that we have to poison ivy. Yes, it's the name of the poison ivy family is Anacardiacea. So cashew and mangoes is Anacardiacea family too. That's why people who like to eat mangoes, sometimes they get a kind of rash on the leaves when they eat, mostly if they are still green. And in Costa Rica, it's a little bit more common to eat the fruit, even more than eating the nut. So what we do is that we eat the fruit and we just put the nuts in place, and then when we want to eat it, we make a fire and we just cook them in there. So what you gotta do is to get away, because the smoke coming out from those nuts is very poisonous. So that is some of the things that we produce in there in the Pacific side. Costa Rica is a democratic country. We have elections every 4 years. The president in this moment is Mr. Rodrigo Chavez. Rodrigo Chavez is part of what we can call like a non-traditional political party. As in many countries, for many years we used to have only two main political parties. It was interesting because 4 years one of the political parties, and then the other 4 years the other one, and they just changed like that. About 12 years ago, people started saying, okay, well, we would like to have something new, some new ideas and different things. But I think that we did a little bit more than normal too, because for the last elections, you know how many political parties we had? 26 political parties. That was crazy. Of course, that when we say new ones, it's just the name, because most of the people in there were part of traditional political parties. Well, that is our politics in Costa Rica. Is is very stable in that aspect. So we have elections on the second Sunday of February every 4 years. And that is on Sunday, and then on Monday, no one talks about that. So just, we have that. Presidents cannot be re-elected, at least not in a continuous period. So if they want to be president again, so they would have to wait for 4 years. And we have only one who has been re-elected, Mr. Oscar Arias. In 1990, he was president, and in 2000, he was president again. He was famous, a famous man in the 1990 because there were a lot of problems in Central America, a lot of countries with some kind of wars and different things, and Mr. Oscar Arias helped a lot to solve that. So that's why he got a Nobel Peace Prize. And then he was president again, and just, let's say, regular. So I don't like to speak too much about that, but well, he was president again. And it's very stable, as I said, in that aspect. So Costa Rica is one of the few countries in the area that has no army. You know, if you knew it, but Costa Rica has no army since 1948. This one is the president that we always talk about, Mr. Jose Figueres Ferrer, was the one who had that idea of saying, no, of course that there were some economic problems in Costa Rica in the moment, so he said, no, we cannot have an army anymore. So he started investing more money in some other fields, including education field. And that makes that nowadays Costa Rica has one of the highest literacy rates of the area, which is 96%. That's why our economy and our culture is changing a lot in this moment. But it's very stable in that aspect because of the Spaniards were the ones who got here back in the 1560s. And our native language is Spanish. Our official religion is Catholic, but well, we have freedom of religion, but the official one is Catholic. And when I say that our native language is Spanish, but nowadays our economy depends a lot on some foreign companies, so that's why English is becoming more and more important. For a long time, we teach English in our schools, but only when kids get to high school, 7th and 8th grade, like 12, 13 years old. But nowadays, we're doing from the very beginning, just from the even kindergarten and elementary school. So I think that in a few years, most of Costa Rican will speak English a little bit more. Because, as I said, it's becoming very important. Costa Rica got a characteristic is that we don't have like big cities as you have. I mean, when I said that, I had I don't know, before the pandemic, I had the opportunity to visit the New York City because I work as a teacher, and I took a group of students to New York, and we did some things around the area. But I mean, we don't have as big cities as those. We have San Jose and Alajuela. We have cities with some buildings, but are not that big. One of the reasons for that is that, well, we are in an area where there are a lot of volcanoes, so that means that we have some earthquakes sometimes, and we're used to it, so that's why we don't have those. But we have many like small towns. In all towns of Costa Rica will be similar because they all have 4 requirements. A town in Costa Rica, to be a town, need to have a school, a church, a park, and believe it or not, there is always a soccer field. Okay, we love soccer in Costa Rica. That's where our kids played a lot, and they love it. So there is almost always a soccer field. Nowadays, with the access to the internet and in the schools and in the houses and all that, well, now they learn a little bit more about other sports. So now you can see some people sometimes playing baseball or even basketball. I don't know, right now it's in almost all schools, that is a new fashion. Now all of the kids are playing basketball. But soccer is like the very original or official sport. Now that we're here in the Caribbean side, the Caribbean of Costa Rica is important because in here is where we produce most of the bananas that we produce in Costa Rica. The 90% of bananas are produced here in this side of the country. Why? Well, the conditions are spoil what it makes this place to be like that, because bananas to survive need sunlight and water almost at the same time. So having those conditions, that would be the perfect place for bananas. So that's why we grow them in here in this part of the country. You like bananas? Well, I hope that you don't like. Really? Well, we produce a lot of bananas, and about 40% of all what we produce is about 1 million boxes a year. I don't know if you have seen them. I don't know how you buy bananas, but we export them in boxes, or they have 110 bananas in each box and weight 42 pounds. That's so in big boxes. So 1 million boxes, that's what we exported last year. It's still considered a very important crop for us. And for many years, I gotta tell you that banana was our main industry. But, well, that was from the 1930s and up to the 1990s was our main industry. But well, things change. As I said, our interest rate is very high, so that makes some companies to be interested in coming to our country. So right now our main industry, and not many Costa Ricans know, is technology. And when I said that, companies making, for example, a lot of microchips. The very first ones that got here around at the end of the 1990s and the beginning of the 2000s was Intel and Hewlett Packard. So industry, the technology was based mainly on microchips. But then a lot of companies start getting here too and make a lot of hospital supplies. So that is the number one right now. You know how much represents the hospital supply? Represent about 43% of all of our incomes right now. Okay, some of you already know these bananas. I said that we're gonna cross some bananas. Those are bananas. Check some characteristics, okay, what you see, and then I will tell you some things about it. So, number one is technology. Number two is what we're doing today, tourism. We're visited by around 3 million people a year in Costa Rica. Imagine, we're only 5.5 million and we're visited by about 3 million people. Probably, okay, it's a small plane doing what?
What are the blue bags hanging off the banana plants?
Fancy bananas.
The blue ones are fancy bananas?
Well, I don't know if the pilot is practicing, because I see that it's not spraying anything right there. But that is a very, that is a common thing. I mean, that happens once a week in a banana plantation. I mean, it's necessary to spray that because of there is a fungus that affects the leaf of bananas, not the bananas, but the leaves. And leaves are so important for the quality of bananas, so we need to spray them once a week. And the bluebacks, the one question about the bluebacks. Okay, the bluebacks are the one that protect the bananas for some insects, beetles, different things, and provides a microclimate to bananas. I don't know if you remember, but years ago it was common to hear about the banana spiders and all that. I don't know if you heard about that, but that was something that happened because in the 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, we didn't use the plastic bags. We didn't know about it. So because of the position of bananas, a bunch of banana, it's a great place for many things to go and make like a kind of nest. including opossums, birds, and some kind of rodents used to live in there. And even, imagine that, even it was possible when someone was carrying a bunch of banana in the shoulder, we still do it like that. When we harvest, we have to carry something on the shoulder. It was possible to see us sometimes boa constrictor just moving in the shoulder. Of course, small ones, but they used to get. So the plastic bags help up for that. So the second industry is tourism. I said that we were visited by 3 million people. But not any kind of tourism. I prefer to say ecotourism. Ecotourism is that one where we wanted to show what we have, but at the same time we want to protect it. So most of the places that you can visit in Costa Rica national parks, actually 31% of the country is protected. So all places that you visit, the money that they get is just to protect the forest. So it's ecotourism what we do. And the number 3, well, let's get into the field of bananas. Bananas is our industry. Okay, let me take a break of general information and let me tell you about bananas. And here I want you to participate. If you don't know, it's okay. You can guess. Couple of questions. Now, number 1, how long you know if it takes for a banana plant since it start growing until we cut the bunch of bananas? Any idea?
2 years.
We have 2 years. About you there?
10 years.
10? Okay, look at them. Look at the plantation right there. Okay, my dear friends, let me tell you, banana is a plant, not a tree, so that's why there's no trunk, but a stem. And it's a very soft stem. 90% of the banana stem is water. That means that it grows very, but very fast. Very fast. So you know the time is just like the cycle of a baby in the stomach. 9 months, that's all.
9 months.
9 months divided in two parts. First will be 6 months for the plant to grow, just as the regular size, like the one that we saw back there, 6 months. And then in the month number 6, almost like a baby, the bunch of banana come out in month number 6. And then 3 months more for the bananas to grow and to be able to cut it. Okay, how many bananas you think, if you have an idea, how many bananas you think a one plant can produce?
30.
We have 30,
40.
70, 40, 150. Why you say 150? Okay. I have something here that I want you to see.
Oh my.
Okay, because I am here, I don't know exactly where are we right now or how long it will take. But right on the train, I have a bag in here. You will see how many things I have in there. In the train, I'm gonna show you this a little bit better and closer, and I will walk for you to take pictures. But look at this thing that I have right here. What does it look like? Like what? Some people say it look like a little bit like corn. Okay.
It does.
And it's nice because that helped me a little bit to explain bananas. It's in a group of plants that are called monocots. Monocots are plants like bamboo, palms, all the grass that you see, and bananas, corn is in the same group of this one. So if you say corn, well, it's not corn, but you're kind of close because it's in the same group of them. But this is the part of the plant that appear in the month number 6. Okay, this one will be growing in the middle of the stem and comes out and will be hanging in this position.
And that's what they put the bag over?
No yet, no. Immediately, because if you see there's no bananas in here, look what it happens. As soon as this come out, look.
Oh, wow.
If you wonder where are the bananas, these ones are the bananas. Each of these one is a banana. This one right here.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
You see that?
Looks like green bean.
These modified leaves that cover these bananas will fall off in just 1 week. These ones will get dry and fell off automatically. Immediately that happens when all of these modified leaves fell off is when we go and cover them with the plastic bags. Look at this. There is
Wow.
there's one more in here. So these ones are the bananas. Each of these one is a banana. So all of these bananas here together, we call it a hand of banana. In a banana plantation, we call each banana a finger. So what happened in here? There are in between 15 to 20 bananas in each of these hands. But if you see there's one, there's two in here, and I can do the other ones with more. If you see there is one more in there. So in total there are average 10 hands. 15, 20 in each, so that gives 150 to 200 bananas in each of these ones. And these ones are, I'm talking about the edible bananas. Because in this same structure, at the end, after the hand number 10, there will be some other bananas, but those will be very small, and they won't grow enough to be commercial. But there is another like 100 more, but very tiny ones. So those are not commercial. So whenever you eat a banana, like this one, this is one of those that we just saw, like they're a commercial banana. Whenever you eat a banana, that is a female flower, because this is something different too about bananas. You know that there are many plants that some of them have male flowers and some other ones have female flowers, and they are pollinated. You know all the story, the wind, the birds. In bananas, it doesn't happen. In the same structure, there will be male and females, and they are not pollinated. But this is the sad part. In here, I sometimes don't even talk about that, but only the female's flowers will be the ones that grow enough to be commercial.
Oh.
The male will be tiny ones, and sounds cruel, but they're useless. So you know the man who put the plastic back? This man, he caught the male flowers and just normally throw them away because they don't have any commercial use. But this is the whole structure. This is what it appeared in the month number 6. And from this stage, in only 3 months, this will grow enough just to be commercial, have the shape and the size that we need to export it. So, but one plant, important, produce only one of this one. Once that we cut this one, that plant will die. We normally cut the stem on the top, and that stem will get decomposed very fast. Okay, I'm gonna have this one.
Do you hand pick them? Each pod you have to pick the
Yes, we pick them. Yes, when there is the harvesting process. Look at the plastic bags, okay? In the top, we put it from the lower to the top, and we tie it on the top, the plastic bag, with a plastic ribbon, and this one will have one color per week. So for example, let's think that this week we will use only red. So a person will take notes of how many ribbons the workers put in one day, and they will count the time in weeks. So we would know that in about 12 weeks, those red ribbons will be ready to be cut. 12 weeks, depending on the market. If they go to the United States, only 3-4 days on a ship, so we cut them when they are a little bit older, 13, 14 weeks. But if we're gonna send them to Europe, we send like 60% to Europe, so we cut them when they are very young, I mean 11, 12 weeks, because we know that it's gonna be on the ship for 1 or 2 weeks sometimes. So that is the reason of the plastic bag and the ribbon that we put in there. We are working commercially with 4 different varieties. Yes, sir.
Are all these bananas what they call Cavendish bananas?
Yes, you're exactly right. That's one of the main varieties, the Cavendish, you're correct. It's our varieties. I don't say like a species or original species with it, because right now we don't have that. But we work with different varieties. Varieties as well as coffee and cacao. They have been just modified to what we have nowadays for them to be more resistant to certain kind of diseases that affect them. But that is mainly Cavendish. But we work commercially with 4 varieties. This one is the most common one. Then we work a lot with plantains. You know the plantains? The big bananas? The plant is exactly the same. Same size, same color, everything, but just the size is different. The plantains, we normally fry them. That's the way how we eat it. Then there is a new variety. I say new, we start working with it with about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, with a red species of banana. It's called red macaboo. The skin is red, but the size, the shape, the smelling of it is exactly the same like other bananas, only the color of the skin. That's why many people have in the houses as an ornamental plant, because of the color of the skin. And finally, we are working with a tiny banana. I don't know if you have seen it, but it's something really tiny. We call it baby banana or apple banana or finger banana, many common names. That banana is, well, besides the size, let me see. They are really tiny, just like this. Yeah? But this one is a little bit sweeter than the regular size one.
I tend to see those in South Carolina.
In South Carolina, this one? Okay. Interesting, huh? That I didn't know that. I know that we export them, not to all United States, just to certain areas, but this is it's a common one, let's say.
People like them there because they seem to make the season. We tried the Cavendish bananas in certain areas, unless you're close to Charleston. You can't get them to grow the whole season.
Okay, yeah. Bananas, because of, I said that we cut them and one plant will produce only 1 bunch. But what happened? Bananas grow, just think in bamboo. What happened when you plant 1 bamboo? Then you won't get rid of it.
Yeah.
The same with bananas. You plant 1, and from that same, we call it rhizome, it's something round that is underground. From the same rhizome, many other bananas will come. I want you to see and check this cable right here. First of all, we're gonna take 1 minute in here. Look at the bananas, look at the ribbons over there that tie the plastic bags. Bunch of bananas are heavy, too heavy for the stem. So that's why we need to tie it, if you see the ropes. So it's just to tie them to keep them standing, because a strong wind can be bad for a banana plantation. And I want you to see in each main plant, try to notice in the lower part there are new plants coming. So that is the rhizome. If we were able to take that part on the ground, it's like the size of a basketball. That is the rhizome. And from that rhizome there is a core in the middle. That's where the new plants come. So 1 plant is the mother, we can say like that, is the mother of 6 new plants. And the 6 new ones, we have 6 new ones, and that is the way how we have bananas producing all year round. It's not like a seasonal product in there. So you can check that. Of course, that from the 6 new plants that come, we cannot let all the 6 plants to grow. We just have to cut and let only 2 or 3 growing, because there is an average in one hectare. In 1 hectare, 1 hectare, for you to know, is 3 acres. We can have only 1,600 plants. No more than that, because the soil won't have enough nutrients, and no less because you won't be using the whole plantation in there. That is the reason for that. But that is today. Look at the person who's in charge of cutting the plants, because remember, if there are 6, so there's a person who goes and check and look for the best new plants and cut them in the right position for that. Okay, I have.
So when you pick them, they're green here, but they turn yellow when we get them. That's when they're actually ripe,
No.
is the yellow.
No, actually, we have to cut them green, and they have to get green to the ports they go. Bananas cannot get yellow. That is something that we have to be extremely careful with. I mean, in the harvesting process, we need to, when we cut a bunch of bananas, let me tell you how we do that, because everything in a banana plantation got to be done by hand. So we send a group of 5 people. One person will have a machete, very sharp machete. 2 will have a sponge, big sponge that put in the shoulder in a certain moment, and 2 will be on a cable. We're gonna cross the cable soon. You will see it's a cable, and this person will have some things like with kind of, how can I call it, like pulleys. Some pulleys, 2 wheels, and had a long chain where we just hang the bunches of banana. So the process is this: the man with the machete will walk in the plantation. He will be the one who look for the ribbon. Besides the color of the ribbon, this man will have a stick with something to measure the size of banana. So he check that. If the bananas is okay, he just make with the machete, he make a cut in the stem. He do not cut it completely. He just make the plant to go to bend a little bit. Immediately the person with the sponge go and put under the bunch of banana and put it in his shoulder. So the man with the machete cut a bunch of banana. Now this man will have to walk until he get to a cable. And in the cable there will be one person that put all the pulleys in the cable and hang the bunch of banana in there. This man in that cable, he wait until he get 25 bunches of bananas. He just put it together like a train, and then with a rope he just carry all the bananas to the boxing area. So that is the process. That's normally in a banana plantation, in a regular banana plantation, they cut about 2,000 boxes of bananas per day.
What does a bunch weigh?
Sorry?
How much they weigh?
A bunch of banana. Well, there are moments of the year when the production is better. I mean, the bananas get good weight and get good nutrients. So the idea is to get 1 boxes of banana per bunch of banana.
Oh, 1 box per bunch.
1.2, 1.3 boxes per bunch. But on December, when the temperature is a little bit lower, remember that very cold, and well, no, it's not that cold, but it is not the best temperature for banana, so we can get only about 0.90 boxes per bunch of banana. Sadly, that means that a lot of the bananas cannot be exported because they have something. But we use it a lot for our local market. Our company that make baby food and many different things. Well, those are the bananas. Okay, my dear friends, I have a couple of bananas right here. I can share. We're about to get there, just no more than 5 minutes. So we're about to get there. Important, so remember there are 3 groups, so the train is divided. How you call wagons? That's each part of the train. Mm-hmm. So there are 3, so this group is gonna go in 1, and each of them get a restroom, a toilet over there. So in here the bus got 1 in case for emergency number 1. I have a couple of bananas here. if you wanted to try, I can share one with you. Maybe one per couple. Okay, you can try.
I do. Thank you. It's good. Probably raised my sugar way up, but
I may never go back to the big
it's really
banana.
good.
No, here.
Tastes just like the
I've
big
not tried
bananas.
it. What's up, everybody? Can I get this out?
It would, like for a little kid, instead of the big bananas that we get.
That is the
And they're very sweet.
Where would you like?
Huh? Yes. Oh, ours was cautious. He was a good driver. Thank you. Do you reuse any of the banana parts?
Yes, very important. When you reuse, nowadays the part where the bananas are hanging is called rockies. That part got a good fiber, so we make paper with that. Whenever you hear about banana paper, it's made out of not of the banana itself, but from the rockies. That's what we use for that.
Gonna spray the tin.
Yes, we're gonna helicopter or small planes. That's one of the things that we do in here. Okay, for this part of the tour, this second part, the train, remember it's about 1 hour. So in there, it's mainly like just for you to see the view, the things that we will see from there. There will be a couple of moments when they will stop the train just in certain places just for you to see some things in there. There's no like microphone like these, so the idea is that you just enjoy, but I'm going to be in there with you, so if you have questions, let me know. In the moments when we stop, I will probably use that time to explain some things. I still have more things like the bananas and some other things that I wanted to show you. If I can do it in the train, great. If not, in the drive to the gift shop, I will use that. But just for you to know, the train is just for you to enjoy. So since there's no microphone and the sound of the train is a little hard, so maybe I don't have that much time to speak in there. But if you have questions, that's a good moment if you want me to get close and I can answer some of the questions.
These people walking down the street, they work in the fields.
Yes, they are many people. If you see, look at the houses right there on the right. Not this one right here because this one is almost on the ground, but the one that was before where the mango tree is. That house is one of the very representative houses of these areas because they are built on stilts. That's why it's because of, it rains a lot in here. And when it happens, it really rains. So believe me that we have sometimes problem in here. So the rain makes it almost all these towns right here. Gonna, okay, our one would be this one right here, the number 37. So they have capacity for 50, so we're 45. So there's enough space so you can go and sit wherever you want. Just watch your step coming down and try to take what you have with you. And remember, this same bus will wait for us. Please check the, I don't know if they don't have numbers, but try to remember, yes, they do have numbers. The number of the seats, try to remember them for you to use the same ones after the train ride.
Is there a bus number?
Yeah, in the train. There is a restroom in the train.